welcome to Class Dismissed, brought to you by Freedom Project Academy. I am Katie, and I'm joined by Dave and Lindsay this week. Now, we're going to begin this week with a headline. Parents are opting kids out of school laptops, returning them to pen and paper. That's right, children. You need to grab your pens and pencils, because we're going to go back in time. Woo-hoo. Yeah, all of us here are like, yes! We're very excited, but it's... NBC actually ran a tech news piece out of all places, bringing in examples from California.
Wow.
So thinking kids wanting to go pen and paper in California, these are two things that we didn't think would actually ever go together. But it described a family who actually decided to opt their children out of using the school-issued Chromebooks, which I'm fully aware of. And it's a middle schooler and a other child. And the middle schooler had been begging to basically opt out.
Wow.
A middle schooler begging to opt out of using technology. These are not things that you would think in 2026, but
no.
Very excitedly, they were able to opt out. The student actually said that they were getting headaches from the Chromebook screen.
That.
And actually, the kid disliked that there was an AI chatbot that was recently put into, so the kids could use it. So, I mean,
Gemini.
Amazing. So let's take a look at what's going on.
Across the country, some families are opting their children out of school-issued laptops and tablets. Instead, they want lessons completed with pen and paper. Let's connect the dots. Parents say their concerns include too much screen time, distractions, and headaches or eye strain from devices. Some also worry about easy access to games, social media, or even AI tools that could do the work for students. But the shift isn't simple. Many schools say their curriculum is built around digital learning, and policies can make opting out difficult. Educators also point out that technology can be valuable when used the right way. The bigger issue now, finding the right balance between digital tools and traditional learning as schools and families rethink how kids learn best.
It's like revolutionary information, except it's not. So it's talking about not just California, which the story actually ran about, but it's across the country. This is the little fire that is starting to spread, and I hope it, engulfs the entire nation, metaphorically, obviously, and people go back to using the pen and paper because... I don't know. It would actually force our kids to really be engaged and learn.
The most poignant thing in that story is when they said technology can be used in the right way.
Right.
And I think that's what we have to really wrap our brain around, defining what that is.
Yeah.
Because right now kids are using it for everything.
Yeah.
And if we teach them how to use it in a way that's going to be beneficial to them and not detract from them or cause harm to them, that's how I think we should really be teaching students the appropriate ways to use technology, the appropriate ways to use artificial intelligence, because it is a beneficial tool.
Right.
But it has to be used in the right way, and it has to be used in a way that allows the students to develop their own independence.
Right.
So.
Well, it's like I remember when, way back in the 1900s.
Oh, in the 1900s. So long ago, the 1900s.
I know. Electricity just came out. But it was like with computers, they would say like, oh, we want to prepare kids for the future. And then it's like we kind of skipped over this whole learning process of like writing and cursive. And so now people are like, oh, maybe before they're ready for the future, let's prepare them for...
Dare we say some traditional elements of an education?
I know.
How dare you? I want to get your opinion because on this quote from a father who was mentioned in this piece, he said, screen use feels like tobacco use used to be.
Oh.
Kids used to have rooms they could smoke in at school before they realized how bad it was years ago. I feel like my kids are being forced to smoke cigarettes during the school day, but then they're also sending a pack of cigarettes home with them too.
Yeah.
What a great analogy.
Wow.
It's effective. I would say the analogy is effective, not cigarettes.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Or technology. Let me rephrase that. But it's like they're getting it all day at school. Then they have to take their Chromebooks home and do homework on the Chromebook. And it is just like, also, so you were both educators. I feel like, is it a mindset when you like are in school and you have your books and your paper and like physically it's like, okay, this is my school routine. Then when I'm home, this is my routine. And when they're just bringing that Chromebook with them everywhere, how do you draw the line?
Right.
So I feel like the kids would say it's a vibe, instead not a mindset, but it's a vibe.
True.
Yeah.
With that, I've talked to my students a lot about this, and they are honestly kind of sick of it too. Because it's not even we're on computers. It's, we're on computers and now the internet isn't working or the computer is not turning on, or it's more of a hassle. Oh, can't we use just pen and paper? And I'm like, yes, let's do so. But some of these, and I try to do as much on paper in books as possible, but for a lot of these schools, it's saying that nearly 9 in 10 public schools provide a device for each middle and high school student, known as their one-to-one policies, and that more than 4 in 5 elementary schools do the same. Elementary, so
Starting
little
them young.
on, these kids are all day, not all, okay, a lot of the day. I won't be too hyperbolic here, but a lot of the day, every day though, they are on these devices.
Yeah, it's excessive screen time. It's not good for their mental health. It's not good for their physical well-being. And as we highlighted in a previous episode, the research suggests when kids are reading from digital material online rather than a paper or a hard copy book in front of them, they're not retaining the information.
And now, interesting, when we talk about Freedom Project Academy, well, you're an online school, then how do you deal with that? And what can your response be
because we actually have literature books that the kids pick up and read page to page to page. Yeah, they're doing a lot of offline homework activities too. I mean, we do some things online that are virtually scored or automatically scored on Canvas, but most of the time they're asked to write things in written constructed responses.
Okay, think of like elementary. Okay, how many, when a fifth grader and they're in the live class with the teacher, how many hours a day are they online actually? Is it like 2 hours a day?
Yeah, it's only 2 hours a day.
2 hours a day.
Class.
Yeah.
Everything else they're
and then
doing.
if there's a homework assignment they have to do in Canvas,
Yeah.
if it's a quick check reading quiz or something, they might be online for maybe another half an hour. But most of the work they're doing for homework is done on pencil and paper or in a workbook, or they're writing short essays or responses to questions from literature. I mean, it's very much old school. I'll use that term lovingly. It's old school, not the new digitization age.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to say it's good. So here's the deal. This goes into our next story. Because if we're churning out, and that's kind of the term I am purposely using, churning out a generation of kids who are just going to be on the computers using the AI chatbots to help them with their papers or whatnot, why even need them as employees? Can't we just get away with using, like, cut out the middleman, the actual man, and then go straight to the AI?
Yeah.
My company decided this year that managers are no longer going to be doing monthly performance reviews. Now we're having performance reviews with an AI. Let me just show you this. This is crazy.
Hi, Missy. Thanks for joining. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. At what point this quarter did you realize this job is hurting your mental health more than it's helping your life?
It was a very stressful quarter. I'm glad that we were able to meet our goals.
We replaced you tomorrow with someone cheaper and more desperate. What exactly would we actually lose?
Well, you would lose a really good employee. I'm a strong worker and I know the company in and out. You would be losing all of that knowledge and commitment to the company.
Good employee and strong worker are feelings. Give me one metric, one project, or one thing you did that actually moved the needle for the company.
Wow.
Well, AI chatbot.
This is morally wrong on so many levels. So if you think of this in terms of what is one of our purposes here on earth that God has given us, and it's to work, it's to be productive, it's to make a difference in our lives and other people's lives in a positive manner. This completely dehumanizes any element of relationship building, of why we have a purpose to impact people that we can encounter. And I mean, if a company like this is going to expand and grow and be successful, don't they have to have client relationships? I mean, how can an AI chatbot have a relationship, a true relationship with a potential client and further that company's business? I think if we're only going to use measurable metrics as evidence of an employee's impact on a company's success, it seems contradictory to the trust building relationships that are required of the employee to grow the company with future clients, right? So if performance reviews are conducted by AI and they're not factoring in sustainability and loyalty of that employee, which would ultimately lead to higher turnover rates and long-term decline in the knowledge of the best practices for that particular company that this person obviously had to be trained in or experienced in over so many years, months, whatever, how long they're there.
Yeah.
That's going to, again, completely erode these long-standing relationships that these companies have with clients. I just don't see any benefit to having someone measured solely by productivity on a metric when there are so many other factors that go into how you develop a relationship, how you build the client base, and how you successfully impact the company.
Well, I also think that it's going to backfire too. They're going to be like, we don't need a manager. We've got this AI, so it's like where this upper management is like, isn't this a clever idea? When really the people above them are thinking,
We don't.
I don't need you.
either. Yeah.
I just, and I know that there's bigger companies like Citibank, and they have their own people that work from home, their own algorithms that monitor keystrokes and things like that. So now they're going to monitor people's moods and, do you know what I mean? I just
It's Twilight Zone, people. This is
Big Brother.
It's becoming okay. You guys are using way too much logos, and I don't like it. Okay, because you're making too much sense, and that's not what AI is here to do. AI is here to sound like a robot, act like a robot, be a robot,
It's not
but
here to
then
monitor us.
Right.
It's
not here
probably
to-
monitoring you right now.
Yeah.
But hey, there is actually something good. Something good that can come from using AI. If AI is used for proper ways, apparently you can sell your own home, according to our next story, where a man used ChatGPT, which is is it the most common kind of
Probably.
AI
Not that I know.
thing?
Not that I know.
I don't.
That's what I've heard.
Grouping thing. Well, he used ChatGPT to sell his Cooper City home, and it exceeded our expectations.
So this is the house. We're really going to miss it.
After 15 years in his Cooper City home, Robert Levine decided it was finally time to sell. But instead of contacting a real estate agent, he turned to the power of the prompt. ChatGPT.
I really wanted to challenge myself to use AI for the entire journey, not just piecemeal, every step along the way.
The married father of three says he used artificial intelligence for everything. The planning, the pricing, the marketing, even the paint.
We repainted a couple of rooms in the house because ChatGPT said that's where you're going to get the biggest return on investment. The most important thing it did for us was build out a timeline. Here's when you need to start packing your house.
ChatGPT helped Robert design the marketing materials like his open house handout and the online listing. Then told him how to get his home listed on the MLS, the multiple listing service, scheduled his showings, and suggested the best day to list his home.
We ended up listing on a Tuesday.
Turned out to be terrific timing.
I think within the first 72 hours, we had 5 offers on the home already, which was tremendous.
The Levines still held the open house scheduled for that following Saturday, but by Sunday morning, 5 days after listing their home, they had a signed contract. A contract generated by, you guessed it,
Don't they need a
ChatGPT.
lawyer?
It's exceeded our expectations.
Robert did hire a lawyer to review the
there we go.
contract and
Okay.
other legal documents, but other than that, his AI assistant did all the heavy lifting. So why did he do it? One of his biggest motivations was saving money.
We estimate that leveraging these AI tools will save us about 3% of the total sale price, which in our case is a meaningful amount of money.
Probably more than my entire house cost at 3%, but okay, yeah.
I love this because So my husband and I, we've moved around a little bit. We're in our 5th house.
Ooh, nice.
We've been here quite a while, but I really understand that people get too emotionally attached when it's their home. And so if this guy has the mindset that he can be detached emotionally and say, okay, this is what I should do, this is how I should do it, not take like, well, but I love my chartreuse walls, and just be like, oh, well, this is what I should do. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, obviously, this is a smart and effective way to use AI to save money.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and you're not harming anyone. You're not hurting yourself.
Yeah.
You're actually learning something through the process. What I thought was most interesting is the Chat GPT suggested a Tuesday listing day. Now, when I first heard that, I thought, wow, why a Tuesday?
Why a Tuesday?
Wouldn't a Saturday or a Sunday when people have time to be, perusing online on the weekend to look at houses?
Tuesday was so hot.
Yeah. And so I would have thought later in the week, but then it makes sense because it would drive traffic to the open house,
right?
Which obviously there was a lot of interest right off the bat, but then it gives them time to say, let me do a little research on this property. And then there's an open house upcoming. So I'm sure there was a lot more foot traffic at the open house because of an earlier listing.
I did look it up. He sold his house. So 3%.
Yeah.
It's a lot. What is 3% of $954,800?
He sold that thing for like $1 million.
Yeah. Wow. So I mean, and I think also it would depend on your market, and I don't know, but
3% of that is a good chunk of change.
It's enough.
Yeah.
It's almost
it's 28,000.
Yeah.
They said it in my ear. I'm not a human calculator.
Well, I was like, it's about 30K. Well, because I just went up to $1 million and did simple math.
Well,
wow, 30K. That is a pocket.
The other thing is, this isn't new. So like the fact that he did this on his own isn't like this novel thing. For sale by owner has been around forever.
Right.
We had considered doing that because we're on home number 4. So,
so you're right with me. Yeah.
So now when you're taking on that responsibility, it just makes that job so much easier because you have help, you have guidance, you have really good tools and tips to help make it as successful as possible for a for sale by owner person. So I think use of AI in this instance is a adequate, very effective, and pleasant use of AI.
But we're all in agreement too. We are glad to hear he also hired a lawyer.
Oh,
yes.
for sure.
I was like, isn't there some
ChatGPT?
Not a lawyer.
Not a lawyer.
No.
Also not a doctor.
No.
So
Yeah,
if you got
please don't
some weird
self-diagnose.
mole, I'm just saying go maybe get it checked out. Anyway, let's go to something that's cute. Lindsay. Oh,
Yes.
and Lindsay's story. All right. What do we have to say about penguins?
Okay, so this was in Edinburgh Zoo, and the Children's Hospital there, they painted rocks to give to the penguins. So these penguins take the rocks, and these are the male penguins, and they use their own opinion, because some males don't have good opinions, but they pick what they think are the prettiest rocks, and they give them to a potential mate.
Ooh.
See, now that penguin right there, he should have picked a better one, because she had a lot of rocks in her pile. Oh. Look how cute they are.
So these penguins are just going to a giant pile of rocks that are painted, and then they're waddling themselves over
Laura,
to the ladies
I picked
who
this
are all
yellow one
waiting,
just for you.
to
Oh,
see
look
which
at she gave him a little peck.
I mean,
It is pretty adorable.
and I love that it's like, so the kids in the Children's Hospital, they painted, what does it say, 1,000 pebbles?
Wow, look at all the ones she has. How's she
That's
going to
what I'm
choose?
saying.
How does she choose the mate when
She's
so
like
many
the
want her
Elizabeth
attention?
Taylor of the zoo.
My goodness.
See, and now this is like going back to junior high dances when the boys were on
Right.
one wall and girls were on the
Right.
other, and then like, what if,
Yeah.
what
And
the
if
boy
none
would
of
come
them
over-
by me?
Boy
They
would
want to
come
give me
over
a pebble.
with a little note, a little handwritten
Right.
note, or they'd
back
pass
in
it
the
through their friend.
Circle Y or no if you'd like
Yeah.
to dance with
could
me.
You, could
I'm
you give
pretty
this to
sure
Sarah,
I'm
please?
still dating someone from second grade. Because was it George Strait? Check yes or no. Was it George Strait who sang that song?
Oh, I don't know.
Check yes or no. I'm pretty sure George Strait. I did one of those will you be my boyfriend? Check yes or no. I'm
Did
pretty
you
sure we're still
did you
dating.
write a circle between like the Y and the
I think I gave
no?
a nickel along with it.
Oh,
So I paid. I don't think I got my
the answer is no, but here's 5 cents.
Here's a nickel.
I love too that it's like, the kids that are sick, like doing something fun, like painting the rocks.
Yeah.
And then just getting to see, I mean, we think it's adorable. How adorable would you think if you were one of the kids and you were watching
yeah,
the penguin,
absolutely.
like, oh, you picked
that's
my
my
rock.
rock, that's my rock.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, it's such a sweet story.
And it's kind of cute how they're all like these male penguins are like looking around. Like, which one should I pick? Should I pick this one?
Dave,
I don't know.
I mean,
The
I
purple
like
one,
this
blue one?
green one. What do you think? And Dave's like, well, Jim, I don't know. I don't think green's her color. I think you should pick a purple one.
But I'm colorblind. What do I choose? I mean, how do I know? You just grab
And
any
imagine,
rock.
okay, the other thing too, imagine if these penguins go back in the wild and then they're like, where's my pink pebble?
Where's my pink pebble? I want it now. Please.
There's no color in these natural pebbles.
What kind of life do I lead?
Yeah. And look, I mean,
Penguins
come
are just
on.
adorable. They smell horrible, but
Yeah,
they
they're-
are adorable.
They're very cute.
She's got a lot of pebbles.
Yeah, she is
I
highly
mean,
attractive.
she didn't even
Look at her. She
acknowledge
sticks her
him.
beak
Yep.
in the air like, yes, I know.
She's like,
I know I'm...
Just another pebble for
She
me.
didn't even, if I were that male penguin and she acted like that, I'd take my pebble back.
You'd be like, oh,
I'd be like,
excuse you.
nope, not for you.
I will waddle away.
Well, it's a
Good-
big
good
decision.
day.
It's a
Good
big
day to
decision
you.
for them because once they choose, that's for life.
Oh,
Yeah, they do mate for
Yeah.
life.
Really?
Aw.
Yep.
Even
Yep.
more like, oh
my goodness.
It all started with one little pebble.
Yeah.
Just adorable.
Cute.
All right. Well, hey, it is that special time once again when we are going to reveal the new question of the week. So you can just be pondering in that brain of yours. Here it is. Bum, ba, bum. What is your ideal vacation? I dream of a vacation. Is it at a beach resort? Is it at a campground? Are you cruising on a cruise?
No.
Or is it road trip time for you? Well, you can cast your vote today by visiting classdismissed.tv. Think long and hard about this one.
Beach
And then go
resort.
on that vacation. All right, well, thank you for joining us. If you did enjoy the show, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow the podcast on Apple and Spotify. You can find all of the links at classdismissed.tv. We will be back again next Tuesday with another great conversation. For Dave, Lindsay, and myself, have a great week. Until next time, class dismissed.